Okay, I'm live. Hello. I am working on Ugly Quilt today. So that's going to be its own special thing. I am just giving this a quick little. I'm going to give this quick little press. I don't know how. I'm still kind of setting up my table, figuring out where I want things. I've got some crap. All kinds of crapola to move around because what else is new about that? Anyway, I decided to turn the camera on. I finished the fox quilt, and now I've got a bunch of leftover strips and fabric and stuff that can go. I got a pile. I got the pile behind me. That's where I just pull out from my pile. I make quilt as you go squares in any size, any whatever, without any concern for the size. And then when I'm done, I'm going to jigsaw puzzle it all together into squares, and then I'm going to sew those squares into a quilt. I don't want that out of the way. I don't know where I want everything right now. That goes there. That really needs to sit there because there's going to be a bunch of stuff that I'm going to need to iron. Anyway, so I'm just going to get into it. This one here is this particular, I don't know how to set the camera up either. This particular patch that I'm working on, that might be a good angle. Not the best angle, but it might be a good angle because then you guys can see the machine and the table all at the same time. This one here is a little off center. This is only 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to be doing, oh no, this is going to be an inch. I'm going to put a second piece on this. There's the other one. Some of these I'm doing self-binding where I just take this, fold it up, fold it again, and there's my edge. And some of these, depending on how they're sorted out, I'm going to be adding binding after. But this has got a big strip. Why is that way too high? That's got a big strip of white right there. And I want that off, but I only had 3/4 of an inch over here. It just wasn't, it's not gonna line up the way I want it to. So I want that off. Instead of screwing, because some of this stuff is sewn down. So instead of screwing around, I am just going to take the whole thing off and then add a strip of binding around the outside. I always prefer the self-binding though. Always prefer self-binding. When I was doing the fox quilt, I forgot that I had a spare that I was conserving. I was reserving it for emergencies just in case I needed it. So I'm just going to add that. And this is going to be really easy because I'm not going to give it a whole lot of thought. I'm just going to, wait a second. I'm going to make sure I have enough. Oh, yeah, I have enough. This is all scrap. If you're like hovering now or you're wandering in later, this particular project is using entirely scrap. Even the batting is scrap because I'm going to be doing small squares. You'll see. This is like the easiest and laziest self-bind. Oh, I gotta put my thread in. I gotta put in fresh thread. I had to take out the thread that was in. What color do I want to use? In theory, I want to use yellow or orange. But in reality, I'm going to use one thing that I'm doing intentionally. Again, this is anybody who's been following along already knows what I'm doing. But in case you happen to be new to the channel and you're just wandering in now, one of the key rules of this quilt is that clashing can't be avoided. So I'm going to be using intentionally, like I'm going to be using bright yellow and oranges to zigzag all my pieces together so that it's really obvious that this is a scrappy adventure in quilting. Because it's just gonna be part of the look. So I call it the ugly quilt because I call it the Ugly Quilt just because I can. Yep, Ugly Quilt Time. I call it the Ugly Quilt just because I can, but so far, where is it? This one, oh, there it is. This one spreads a little differently than the other one. Sorry, this one spreads a little bit differently than the Janome, but the funny thing is that once it's threaded, it leaves way less. The tail, when you first start sewing, you have this tail, right? And this tail can create this really big tangle. Look at the beginning of a line of sewing. Why is this dropping? I put it up higher, and then it just kind of. I have a feeling I may have to set it statically and then just rely on pushing and pulling and not the other directions that it's supposed to be able to do. But anyway, remember that one? Remember my backup one? I forgot that I even had it, but that is my backup. That is my backup piece of fox quilt in case I had an issue with the other one. I did this one after the first one was done, but anyway. I forgot that I even had it. So this is going to go in. I'm just cleaning up some of I'm cleaning up some of the other quilt. This one's got a nice yellow, but it didn't have enough to go all the way out for the self-binding that I like to do. So now I have to do it properly. But is that enough? Oh yeah, that's enough. I've got a little ironing board. I got my little mini ironing board set up at the side. Anyway, so how you doing, Jenny? I am very interested to see how they come together. I had the Lasgunas, and I think I had the Lasgunas, and I was gonna start piecing together a few patches, but then I realized I had all of this. I've got like this little pile. I've got one of these. I've got that. Remember, I sewed together a bunch of the scrap just to see how it would look. I've got that. I've got more than that. I've already lost track of some pieces. Anyway, oh yeah, that 1, 2. I've got 3 right here that need to be done. That's the 4th. I have a bunch of stuff that's ready to go. Oh, and I have some pieces, the smaller pieces of the fox. I put the bigger pieces away. But I have that I wanted to make into a patch or two. And I realized if I run myself in circles, cleaning all that up just to get something else out, just to get all this shit back out again, I won't make any more patches. I'm pretty sure I don't have enough yet for a full quilt of any kind. So it's like, I should wait. Not that I have to, but I should. Anyway. So this is super. Yeah, it's been a good week here, actually. Oh, we have some good news on Bruno. Goodly bad, badly good. We got the blood test results back from his vitamin D testing, and he is low, which we've already been given. We gave him extra vitamin D, and he's already showing some improvement. Okay, so that's just got to get ironed open, or it's just going to be a mess when I try to fix it. You can also, this is something that you can also finger press open. My hands get really sore after a while because I'm old and decrepit. But yeah, so Bruno's vitamin D is low. We've given him vitamin D, and he already seems to be doing both. The tremors are not gonna. The tremors may also have a relationship to his diabetes. Well, okay. Older dogs can get tremors and muscle spasms. Diabetic dogs can get tremors and muscle spasms. So he's already got that going on, but they seem to be improving. He was getting like uncontrollable. Like I don't know how you would want to describe it because it would look almost like he was having a seizure. It's like he'd just be sitting off on he just relaxed and waited. It wasn't just okay. An actual seizure is very painful. So he wasn't acting like he was having a seizure. He wasn't responding as if he was having an actual seizure. That's why we knew it was just muscle spasms and tremors, but he would get them really bad, and that hasn't happened. We decided to proactively give him a little bit of vitamin D. while we waited for the results, and those really intense, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like a muscle spasm was like, right? As like we're talking about all over body tremors, like that seems to have stopped. That hasn't happened in like a few days now. The muscle spasms seem to be reduced, and vitamin D has an impact on anxiety and stuff like that, which is very common. It can be really common in older adult skin. I'm still only going to go for an inch, so all of this is coming off. I don't have to take all this off right now, but oh shit, that got pulled in the wrong direction. That's okay. Let's get a stitch over in there. It's got folded outwards. So anyway, I could regale in the most boring way forever and ever and ever. But the good news is, okay, I would have much rather it been B12. Vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin, so you can overdose on it. But we did it through the vet, obviously. So we've got the vet feedback on what is within the range of what he can have without being at too much risk. So yeah, we're the vet's pretty confident that we don't have to agonize about overdosing him. So yeah, so we're good. That's 1 inch. That's 1 inch. I still have to put the bottom on. I'm just talking and being lazy and doing things out of turn. So yeah, so he seems to be doing better already. Ideally that trend will continue. And yeah, so last night for the first time since we lost Shayla, he went to bed. We don't think, we're kind of wondering that his behavior at night, he wants company and he can. And so I'm not like, yes, he misses Shayla, but I think the big thing he misses that when he's having his things at night, he can go find her. And now there's just us, right? So we're getting a double dose, because dogs and cats are actually up and down a few times a night. So now that he's got nobody to keep him company when that's happening, that's where a lot of his problems are coming in. Anyway. Last night he was perfectly content to stay in the living room when I went to bed. Which, as soon as I go to bed, he stays in the living room with me until I go to bed. But as soon as I go to bed, he wanders off to go find Lisa, because he just doesn't want to be alone. And last night he was like, yeah, whatever. And then when he did wake up, he's just like, he still was whatever. He didn't care. So, yeah, ideally this is going to be some really good news. Mind you, of course, he offsets that by walking into a wall. Little fucker. Straight into the wall. It's like, oh, there's a wall here. Let me just hold my beer. But he's 13. It's gonna that's normal for that's very normal for a 13 dog with no health issues. So but we're monitoring his vision. His vision is okay. It's not great, because he is blind. He's blind in one eye now, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Dogs actually, as long as they have some. Oh yeah, eyesight's not going to improve. We're not going to get in. He's a 13-year-old dog, and the diabetes doesn't even play any part in that. He's a 13-year-old dog, so vision loss, like he's pretty much blind in one eye. So when something comes at him from the right, I always have to double check, because it's like when he's facing me, it looks like it's his left, right? So if something's coming at him from the right, then it's not until it gets like into the field of vision of this eye that he sees it. But let's face it, if you cover up one eye, you can pretty much still see everything. You just got to like look around a little bit better, be a bit more aware. The other eye seems to be having some vision loss, but I got to get this all the way up because I did my stitching wrong. When you stitch on the binding, I almost doing exactly. But when you stitch on your binding, you're supposed to make sure that you're stitching it. You're supposed to do a fairly narrow seam here so that when you fold this over, it covers up the stitch line. And I didn't go over far enough. That's like, I'm just going to do it the other way that I do it. I'm just going to go top, bottom, then side, side. It's not the end of the deal. It's not the end of the day. But yeah, so he sees like, okay, like what happened yesterday. So it was the same thing that happened before. He was standing close to the door, waiting for the door to open so he could go outside. We were going outside, and it's that door there. I might even be able to bring it around and show you. Now you're not going to get a good look at the door. Well, it's like look at the bottom there, right? When you go to the bottom there, there's not really any color contrast. The same as the doorway. So he's standing in the doorway. Wait a second, what's going on here? He's standing in the doorway waiting to go outside. And then when the door opened, so he's standing in the doorway. This is no, it must be his left eye. He's standing in the doorway waiting to go outside. It's got to be his left eye that's blind. Yeah, it's his left eye. I don't know. I always forget. Anyway, so the door opens and he sees the door open on this side. So the door's open, but he's too close to the wall. He is so close to the wall that he cannot see the wall right now. So he sees that the door's open and he just starts to barrel face first right into the thing. So if we'd have pulled him back a little bit, or, you know, because he's on the leash by that point in time. We're going into the hallway. This is a condo. We have neighbors, right? If we'd have like, okay, this way, we could have got him out of the way, but yeah, barreled straight into the wall because he just couldn't see it because of his angle. But that's a person with vision in only one eye can do that, even when the other eye is perfect. So that's just, sorry, buddy. Sorry about your luck, puppy doodle, but you're gonna have to slow down. But he barreled into the wall. Yeah, but he only ran this far. He just did the launch. Right? You know how dogs launch? He did that. Like, you idiot. But the good news is that he wasn't going fast enough to hurt himself. As an indication that the other eye still has decent enough vision to know that the door was open. So that's good. Because the hallway doesn't have a lot of color contrast out there either. The hallway, yeah, it's just... It's not very good for somebody with vision limitations. But anyway, that's the worst. But it proves he still has vision in the other eye because he knew what he was looking at. So, but I could. Okay, we're in the agonizing phase of this. This is the thing. It's like I'm talking to people who can only type back at me. So it's really easy for me to deep dive in excruciating detail about this. He's doing okay. The vitamin D, we were concerned that it was either vitamin D or vitamin B. His hearing seems to be just fine. Just fine. If he hears the fridge, he's on his way over. We actually near the end, we were wondering if Shayla could hear okay, because she wasn't coming. She would only come over if she would follow Bruno because she would see him going somewhere. But she had radar dishes for ears, but she would not generally speaking would not necessarily, it's hard to describe. She definitely still could hear, but we didn't know whether or not, we think she might have been dealing with some hearing loss near the end, because there's certain things you just cannot do, and you don't, without having a dog come running up going, "Hey, what you doing?" And she would just, but then again, she also was in pain and didn't want to do anything. So it's like, no, I'm not hungry enough to chase, so I'm not going to go in. I don't want to, so we don't know. But anyway, like I said, we've been deep diving all things Bruno for the last 3 weeks. I would have preferred, this is kind of funny, I would have preferred that if Bruno's, I would have preferred to find out that his issue was the B12, which it's not. His B12 levels are fine. There's not even an issue there. I would have preferred to be the B12 though, because the B12 is a water-soluble vitamin, and a water-soluble vitamin means that once your body has had as much as it needs, it just flushes out the rest. You piss it away. Literally, you pee. It comes out in your pee, right? Fat-soluble vitamin like iron and vitamin D can be toxic if you have too much of it. So, but turns out nobody gives a shit about dog. Well, okay, veterinary care is veterinary care is fucking crazy. It's crazy how advanced it's gotten, but it took us this long to get results back on the vitamin D testing because there's only one place in the University of Michigan is the only place in all of North America where you can get this blood test for dogs. You can, okay, I can get vitamin D3 testing anywhere, but the University of Michigan is the only place in North America that offers this testing for animals. So it's like, okay, that's and yet, but I even said to the vet, I said, because he said, well, vitamin D3 isn't usually a problem, and I said, well, unfortunately, it's like, is it not? Is vitamin? Yeah, it's like, is vitamin D3 not usually a problem, or is it because the testing is not available? It's not something that people bother following up on. But yeah, but we also found out. The vet did we've got a good vet though, because like you said, like he said to us, it's not likely going to be the D3 because nope, we just give him a supplement. The liquid drops that you get on Amazon, they come in different strengths. So we have the 400 international units. So we have the 400 strengths, and we just give him 2 drops a day. So we give him, so basically he gets about the same dose as a 10-pound baby would get. There's one. That one's going to look nice. Anyway, but that's like the babbledy for the day. Oh man, my leg fucking hurts. I'm not happy about that. We'll pull this around the corner. Maybe I should put together a couple today. It'll actually feel like I'm accomplishing something. I'm going to go. I got to do a nose blow. I'm starting to get itchy. I keep managing to. I wash my hands and I just drip water everywhere. Anyway, yeah. Maybe design the ugly. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put a couple together. I tidied everything up. That can live there because everything that I need is over there. All I have to do to make a space is to put that there. I'm going to do it. I am having such a squirrely day that I might as well just relax. Be a squirrel. That's got to go down there. That's got to go over there. Because I've got to start practicing more on this process anyway. Okay, that can sit there for now. This all I've got is that. Those are done and just. The fuck did I put them? Oh, this is. I literally picked up a bunch of things and said, these are the ones I need to do today, and they're gone. Like the fabric goblins stole it. Okay. We're gonna take this. I gotta do one thing though, because I had the little mini iron going. So oh, there they are. I've got 3, and as long as I stick them right there and stick that right there, the mini iron, I have to make sure that that's sitting in a little corner by itself, not touching anything, because I just had it on. Anyway, so yeah, there is an injection option. Like we're probably gonna. I don't know how we're gonna do it. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we can probably get him blood tested again in a few months. Get him on the D3. Get him tested to make sure it's actually absorbing. Make sure his numbers are actually coming up, right? And then once that's done, get him retested. And if his levels, because okay, what happens with diabetic dogs and with older dogs, it's not necessarily that they're not getting enough, it's that they're not absorbing it properly. It's malabsorption issues. Yay. So I don't have a lot that's all that schmancy in here. I just was like putting together stuff. Anyway, oh, this is what I gotta do. What do I have? Okay, what I need to do. What I need to do is I need to go 20 by 20. So this is 20 inches here. That is 20 inches there. So that is 20 inches there. I've got to mark that corner. I've got to mark that corner. And you know what I can mark it with? I'm gonna redneck this shit right up. Right up. Okay. I'm going to Sharpie this. And I'm going to use a 20. Basically, the measurement lines that are up here are all metric. So they don't match what's down here. So 20. So if I go Sharpie, please tell me this is working. Sharpie. There. Because Sharpies are really good at not rubbing off once they've had a couple seconds to let the ink set. I'm going to come down here and put another little mark here so I don't have to think too much. Another little mark there. Come on, a little darker. There we go. Ideally, if I wasn't so lazy, I could just put masking tape up. So I've got a 20-inch square marked. Obviously, I know this is my edge and this is my edge. This is also yeah, that's what I'm going to try and do. I've got a couple of rules that I need to follow. I need to follow a few rules. I think I haven't really decided, but the rules that I need to follow. There's the first bin. There's the second bin. Okay, now I need to get this off. I need to take off this beige because I need this to be I need eye bleedy colors, right? We already know that I need eye bleedy colors. That was already the decision was made a long time. What was made a long time ago? Okay, let me get this. I don't know that this is going to be playing puzzle pieces. This is going to be playing puzzle jam or whatever. You know what? I have not been on my Oculus in like a long time. I need to start getting back onto that. Okay, that goes there. I don't want to use that one. I've got tons of orange, but I want to use yellow. Okay, I'll use that one. There, nice bright yellow. Nice bright yellow zigzagging on top of that. And I'm going to be using this machine, so I think my zigzags are going to look very different now. This is going to be interesting because this is going to be straight up piecing with nothing else. I'm wondering if the zigzagging is going to look nicer on this machine than it was on the other, because I didn't like the way it looked on the fox blanket. Anyway, what was I saying? I was saying something. I don't think it was anything that matters. Like I said, we are deep diving the minutia. You do that. You do that when you. I will tell you right now. Most people I know with dogs do that because it's not. There's not really a medical standard when it comes to dogs. What your 200-pound, what your 80-pound German Shepherd, your 80-pound 3-year-old German Shepherd needs something completely different than my 10-pound. I got that one. Now I've got a couple of rules to follow. For starters, I'm not going to put this and this together because I've got others that are just FAFO, whatever. And so I want to make sure that I have a certain amount until I get a chance to make more of these types of things. So what I need to do is get this stuck in the corner. I got to give this a bit of a shuffle. I should probably start keeping the smaller pieces separate from the bigger pieces. But what I need to do is I need to make sure that everything follows a 20 by 20. I can start with something in the center. You can't even see. Wahaha. There we go. I can start with something in the center. So my lines are all made. My line is made here. Now I just got to pull stuff to the pile. Like I can go like that. And then I can go like that. And then I just fill in the gaps, right? But if I start from the center, then I could find myself needing to make a 1-inch piece for the outside. If I do the outsides first, this is a problem. Is that the leftover spaces, I have to make custom pieces for that. We already know this. So if I start from the outside, is that going to go? That does not go unless I turn that one sideways. That was the exact same angles. See, I don't want these two on the same one. I could, but I don't really want those two on the same one. So I would maybe take that one. That's just a nice plain one. So for one that's really nice, I could put it like mostly in the center. Like maybe I'm going to go put that one there along the 20-inch line, then put that one also on the 20-inch line, then put that one. Not perfectly centered, but closely. But then that one doesn't fit. So then you just start peeling through these. So you find one that does. These are all too big. This is so I am saving the girly colors for Lisa. Oh yeah, just be sure your favorites in the center. Yeah, that's exactly what I misread what you said. But what I did find is that if I fill in the outside first with whatever is bigger, then I'm finding it's easier to yeah, this is almost exactly right. And what I've also discovered, I've got some options, right? Like this one goes over the edge. I could go ahead and finish this because I can just cut this and put a new bit of binding on the edges or switch it over. But yeah, so now it's just all about piecing it together. That should actually fit. There we go. That still does not fit. What's going on here? That, nope, still does not fit. What's going on? I don't want that because it's the same thing. Anyway, I'm finding that if I go around the outside first, it's easier for me to match up my fabrics. Yeah, that one fits. It's way easier for me to match up my fabrics. That fits, but there's a gap. Because don't forget, this is all like, this is making your life difficult in one easy step. That can go there. That goes there. That goes there. And it's okay if some of these are off a little tiny bit, because you'll fix it on the next one. You'll fix it on the next one. This is, okay, when this is done, this is not going to be these are not going to be exact or perfect or even close to it. That one can fit. Let's see. What I'm gonna end up with by the time I mix and match and rematch and do this all over again, I'm gonna end up with bigger ones on one side, smaller ones on another, and we'll go from there. That does not fit. Because I'll have to measure that. If I can't find something that fits, I'll have to measure this one out and make a custom piece for it. Which is part of the fun. Oh, that's too narrow. I need one a little bit bigger than this. Anyway, that's not big enough. That's got the 1/2 inch. Now, something else I can do, I don't think I want to do it, is I can actually fuck around with doing very, very, very narrow strips, and I don't think I want to mess around like that. But what I can also do is I can also go, okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1/4, and then I can just take a ruler and just start measuring till I get something that fits. Oh, these two are already together. Does not fit that way. I zigzag these two pieces together for some reason. Now I have to make them fit. We'll put those in that corner. Still fits with that corner. Yay. No, I think what I'm going to do, is when I'm done, I am probably, that fits. Okay, so now I just got to fill in. I got a little guy there. See, like I said, when I'm done, I'm gonna have the little ones all in one pile. I just know it. That's not gonna fit. That's too big. Something else that I can do, though. This is something else that I can do. I can literally put that there. I can put everything else together, and then when it comes time to put this one on, I can zigzag it over top. I can zigzag it either underneath or over top and just have it as an extra piece. It doesn't have to be, they do not have to connect like a perfect puzzle piece. That one, is it going to be wide enough? No, that one doesn't work. That one might. That one does not. Yeah, that's going to be my problem. What I need them to do is I need them to fit and leave like at least a 1 inch gap. I need to be smaller by a certain percentage. No, that's the same size. This is where I can also tweak my technique if I need to. And what I can do is I can go, well, this one's fine and I like it the way it is. So I am going to swing through. Oh, that actually fits properly. So I can go, okay, this one's fine. I can sew everything together as it is right now and then just leave it. I can leave it and then come back later when I feel like it. This one's 3 inches. So I just need to, and again, if I wasn't so lazy, I'm lazy in a different way. I'm lazy in the way that gets me having to redo this shit way too many times. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this is actually 2.5. So, but I knew I was setting myself up for a lot of custom tiny pieces, which I know how to do. So that's too wide. So if I set that there, ooh, this is a little narrower. Maybe not by enough. But see, I can have these be a little big, a little small. But then that's going to impact how I have to put everything else together. Anyway. And it is just like doing a puzzle. Once you've filter, once you've gone through the pieces 3 or 4 times, you start to remember. There's one right there. That might be it. There it is. That one fits. That one fits, and it comes down to here. That one fits. That one fits fine. That one fits fine. There's going to be a gap here and here, which I can, and for the sake of an ugly quilt, I can leave those gaps. This is just going to, I don't think this is going onto a bed or anything. So little tiny gaps like this isn't going to hurt anything. Anyway, we've got, yeah, smallest. If I do smallest holes possible, then I can just call this done. I can just call this one done, zigzag it together, and any holes that are there is fine. That one will fill in for sure. Oh, and I've got this. I've got this little section. I've got this little section here where I've got a whole bunch of stuff that's got the same backing. So I've got to make sure that those are split up. I don't care if they end up together, but I should probably be a little more careful. But anything that 2 inches and under, I haven't been making. I have not been making those as I go. I've got that one too. That's going to be. So that'll be my this will be my first one, and I know I can make a patch this. I can make a patch getting that one. Oh yeah, I forgot to check this one. This one might be, oh yeah, this one's fine. Okay, I thought I had one that was like over 20 inches, and it's like, that's a problem. Okay, this is good enough. We're going to put this one together. So this is really simple. I'm going to pull this 3 over here for now, because I need to, I would like to make sure that this is lined up. This has got to be lined up on this end as much as possible, because that's going to be the outside, right? So, and I'm just going to pull them through and do them in reverse. And I'm going to hit my zigzag button. 5, no, 1.8. This is the moment of truth, actually. I just realized this is the moment of truth. If this looks like shit, then I'm going to have to put it. If this looks like shit, then I'm going to have to hold it. I'm going to have to hold all of this until I have my other machine. Come on, over here, you. Gloves. Where's my gloves? Okay, there was no gloves there. There was no gloves. There's a glove. There it is. It's okay when you're just tossing it all around, but man, this stuff does not like to stick to my fingers. Okay. Oh, I likey. I do not need to do, I just need to do enough back stitching. I can do extra if I really want to, but I just need to do enough back stitching to hold it in place. Because when I do the next, once this square is done, when I add it to the next square, I'm going to be zigzagging all over. Of course, I didn't even back stitch on that piece. It's like, why does that one look funny? It's like, oh, I didn't back stitch. That was smart of me. More back stitching, less back stitching at that particular section. Doesn't matter. There we go. That's done. Okay. So then that goes back to here. So that's got to go. This is the reason why I actually had this very grandiose plan to just start in one corner and build it until I had a complete quilt. And it's like, that's not going to work because I will be wrestling this entire thing. So from here, I'm going, yeah, because I'm going to have a little hole right there. I'm not going to be leaving that hole. Now, the thing that I do have to do, though, is I want this to be nice and straight. So I'm going to, again, flip this upside down. so I can get it. When you start on this end, when you're not lining things up, you could end up, well, no, it should be fun. Let's do it. Let's do it the other way. I've got to do it this way. Okay, that goes there. That goes there. I could pin things. I could actually stop being lazy and start using pins. Okay, down we get. I like to do my back stitching first. Yeah, this is nice and straight. It's magic. Okay, the angle that you put this in means you can control how much fabric is inside the throat. This is called the throat. Being in a position to control how much, which side goes on this side makes it easier for you to control what goes into the throat, which means it makes it easier to control how much bulk you're trying to cram through this little space. Okay. Okay. So far, so good. And yeah, I think I like how they're zigzagging together better than I did on the Janome. Look at that, the two blacks. Look how easy, look how nice they look together. Okay, that's done. That goes there. It's over, it's a little over 20 inches. If I absolutely have to, I just thought of something and I'm going to do it on the next one. What I can do is I can mishmash these together from the inside to the outside, then just sew it all. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because this is how you learn new things. This is how you practice new things. Because this is actually now that it's sewn together, this is 20.5 inches. Maybe I'll do it on this one. Okay. I'm going to go to the top now and put this two together. This is why I want the 20 by 20 grid to lay things out on, so I know what things are. I'm doing something. I'm going to faffle a thing because I can, and I can faffle a thing. I can throw it to the Ugly Quilt and still not give a shit. So I'm going to do a thing because I don't usually screw around with binding. That's why I don't usually like binding, but if I'm only binding a 20-inch piece at a time, what do I care? Okay, that piece is done. So that goes there. Double check on which one's coming up. That one's going next. Okay. See, that one's not going to go either. But I don't care. Okay, this one here is going next. This one here needs to go tuck right in. That needs to tuck right into the L here. Oh, this is the screw around blanket. Nobody ever does this. Okay, if they do, they're not doing it on camera. Nobody ever does this where they screw around with different thoughts and different ideas and different experiments and then not really caring. Never mind what? Wait a minute, what? Okay, so this one has to go from here to here and then turn the corner and go to there, which is not going to be hard. I just have to make sure that these two pieces are lined up. Again, if I had the wherewithal, if I had the wherewithal for this, I should have done my back stitch first. Okay, so I'm at the corner. I'm going to do a little back stitch, just a little back stitch because I got to come around the corner. Okay, now coming around the corner on a zigzag can be weird. So I'm just going to raise this and then line it up. And I'm going to come back a tiny bit. I want the zigzags to overlap. Okay, come on. There we go. This has two different backstitch functions, and if you are not pressing down on the presser foot if you are pressing down on the presser foot when you hit backstitch, it goes brrr, and it's fine. But if you are not pressing down, if you just hit the backstitch just for shits and giggles, then it will yeah, because this one's going to finish out. This one's gonna go a little over, which is fine. Okay. This one goes from here to this one starts here. Okay, we're gonna do this one. Backstitch first. I'm gonna do my next one as a thing. It might be an amazing FAFO thing. Okay, that one's done, but then I have to come over here and that has to connect to that one. So we do the same thing. And then a little bit of backstitch. Okay, that's done. Okay, so now we've got the top is done. Got a little hole. If I consciously decide not to care, I can literally leave these holes and call that a finished patch. So what I've got to do, what I'm doing next is I've got to go here to here. There's a hole, so I got to go here to here. Then I have to start again here and finish it to there. And again, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. So we'll see. The next I am going to get a new bobbin. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? This is a FAFO quilt. I've got extra yellow up there that I've got extra yellow up there that I need to get used up. I'll save that one. I've got almost a full spool of extra yellow. I've got one spool with 2 bobbins. Yeah. The machines are handling it fine. One thing that I prioritized was making sure I had a heavy duty machine. This is the Singer Quantum Stylus 9600, and it's rated heavy duty. So that means it will go. That's what I hated about the Brother. Brother is apparently a great brand. And during COVID times, one thing led to another, and I had one machine that was in the shop. Rose helping me. I had Rose helping me, one machine that was in the shop, and I hadn't gotten, so I only had one machine and a really crappy machine. I got a Brother machine as a backup. Okay, well, let's use this for now. It was so crappy that we switched over and we're using my little crappy backup machine for basting. I know you're like, what's basting? Okay, I know you've listened to enough to know what I mean by basting and stuff. But yeah, we actually had to switch over everything we did because the Brother machine was not heavy duty and couldn't handle most of what I was doing. Because even my Peggy bags are super simple to make, but there's 2 spots where you're going. There's a couple of different situations where you're going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You're going through like 12 layers of fabric because of however many layers of fabric are overlapping on your however many layers of fabric are overlapping on this part of your quilt. Well, when you get to, so if I've got 4 layers overlapping here and 4 layers overlapping here, that means that when you get to the corner, it's 8 layers. And every time we broke so many needles in like the same, we got it home, plugged it in and broke a ton of needles. So we just kept it for basic basting and really, we kept it for exactly as long as we absolutely had to. And then never used it again. I think I used it for like 3 days total. It was like, or no, maybe that's why we got the second. I forget exactly what the order of events. I forget what the exact order of operations here was, but yeah. Okay. So my very bright zigzag thread, so that nobody gets the idea that I'm trying to do anything super schmancy. I think I'm going to do my next piece. Okay, I'm backing up over that though. There's a tiny, these corners on this one type of block that I did are a little rounded. So they're meeting up and leaving a little hole. So I got to back up and cover that hole. I'm backing up farther than I should have, but that's okay. There we go. And I will do a back stitch. If I decide to leave these middle, if I decide to leave the middle holes open, I want there to be a back stitch here. So I'm doing it now. Okay, and then that goes like that. Okay, and I'll show you something else in a second because this is something else that you have to decide not to give a shit about up front. And for anybody wandering in, I can go get it if I know I've shown it to Jenny, so she doesn't need the repeat. This idea for a quilt came about from an idea that I did for crocheting, and that was because when you're knitting and crocheting, a lot of people don't like to knit or crochet blankets for kids because they wreck it. They get a hole in it. And I was like, well, if you're putting it together like this and your kid wrecks it, gets a hole in it, gets whatever, then you're going to measure the piece that got damaged. It's zigzag stitching, which is easy to take out. And then you're just going to replace. It becomes a modular quilt for kids with easily replaceable pieces. I did the exact same thing in a quilted idea in a quilt, and it was so. I made them for the kids, and they're still using them today. Like, I mean, when they were kids, when they were like 8, 9 years old. So I kind of realized, hey, I can do the same thing in quilting, and because of the shop. Oh, I've got some news about that. Because of the shop, because of my Etsy shop, I have tons of scrap all the time. Okay, these are not completely flat. And they're not going to be. This is not, you are not trying to win an award. So I've got I got one opening here that I can cover up. I've got one opening here that I can cover up. And I finished at just over 20 inches, but I can match this to the next 20-inch piece just by going, oh, I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, you can see it down here. See the black here? See that it's puffed up? Because this is just because of the way I wiggled and jiggled to make it all fit, right? So yeah, this finished out at just a 20 1/4 inches by a little tiny bit under 20 inches. And I don't care if there's the road bumps. This also is all unwashed fabric. It's unwashed fabric. This is a FAFO. This is a FAFO. Fuck around and find out pattern. This is a 100% FAFO. This is a 100% FAFO project using 100% scraps. And you know what I'm going to do? Okay. And now that the warm weather's here, I'm stealing back my. Now that the warm weather's here, I'm stealing back the sampler that I gave to Bruno. As a matter of fact, I might add this. So what I'm going to do later is I'm going to measure this out. I'm going to make 2 pieces. I'm going to measure this out, and I'm going to make 2 small pieces, and I'm going to fill in the holes. And I can do that now. I can do that later. I can do that when I'm bored, and I can go. So that's one. That's my first. Well, yeah, it won't matter when it puffs in the washing. That's exactly what my thinking is. Once it's in the wash, it's not going to matter. It will not matter at all. And again, my intended audience for this particular FAFO project is like the biggest. For us, it was like we've got the dogs, right? And it's like I've got one old quilt that they sewed. Oh yeah, sorry. I've got one old quilt. See, these 2 are the same, but we don't have to care. That's not your job. It's not your job to care. I've got one old quilt that the dogs have, and because they go like this and whatever, there's a couple of spots where the fabric got thin. It's an older quilt using the cheapest materials I could find at the time because I was new, right? And that was I made there was a few nice fabrics that came from the shop, but then I also went and bought other fabrics because I don't know why at the time. I think at the time I was only buying enough for the shop and wasn't buying extra. I forget how that went, but anyway. But yeah, like so a small hole starts along the edge or something, and they're digging and making it bigger, right? And it's like I don't have to care if there's a problem. I just have to take the stitch ripper, take out that. If my dog does something on this patch and stains it or scratches it, or if there's a kid and they drop a marker on it or whatever, I can just take it out, measure it, replace it. So it'll be like the ever-evolving quilt. It's going to be, and it's sad because I have no kid. I have kids. My little boy is 35 years old. Like, so it's like, okay, so that's one. But I'm going to FAFO another one right now. That's going to be the center because I can. We're still going to try. We're still going to make an effort. Okay, this is already over the edge. We're okay with that. Okay, it's over the edge. It's way over the edge. Okay, that's way over the edge. We're trying something. We're FAFOing something new. Okay, need one about this size. Perfect. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Okay. Are you seeing this? Are you seeing what's happening? I'm like, oh, I'm going to FAFO this because I want to try something. And it's like, oh, well, let's just drop everything in perfectly for you. Okay, that's over the edge. I bring it into the 20 line. And I bring it a little bit over the, oh no, I don't have to care. We don't have to care. We're FAFOing. This is a FAFO. There's some, I know whereof I do. Is that the saying? He does not know whereof he, okay. That's going to have to go there. Do I have a narrow one? I need a narrow one that's going to fit there. Or, oh, there's a narrow one. Fits right there. We'll fit it there. We'll fit that one right there. No, we'll fit it right there. We'll fit that one. We're going to have a tiny hole. I don't want a tiny hole. So that's going to have to go there. I don't want this one to have a tiny hole. I want to avoid the tiny hole in the middle. Perfect. That's going to go there. 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 This is one somebody asked about the quilt as you go joining. So I joined these two. So they're joined. Oh, actually, I don't want that one. I don't have a lot that's actually a design. Most of it is just shit in a bucket that I put together. It really is. Okay, that's going to go there. That's going to go there. Wait, that can go there. That can go there. That can, okay, that's too big. And this is too big and I don't want to waste it. That can go. Okay, that can go there. Don't want to do that. I can do that. That's almost exact. Nope, that's not exact. Oh my God, now that I'm trying to do it, now that I have a different plan, it's like, well, no, we're going to make this really difficult for you. Okay, that can go there. No, I don't know. I don't know how I want this to go. I don't want these to look like they're completely. There we go. That I don't want. I want that. That's good. Okay, that's good. That's fine. I'll fill in a blank manually. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'll sort that blank out, or I'll fit another one. Over the edge trimmings can become filler for the tiny holes. That's what I'm thinking right this second. This is what I'm doing right now. I'm thinking. I'm trying to create. Oh, this one will be fine. This one can go. Why, hello there, Mr. Monkey. How you doing? What's my puppy after? Okay, these are bigger. No, these are some smaller ones mixed in over here too. Oh, this is almost exact. Okay, I just have to make sure that I am over the edge. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Okay. This is fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, and I just need to fill in this corner here. That's too narrow. This is fine right there. Okay, now what I've got here is I've got my entire 20 by 20 grid covered, right? Which is fine. Now what I've done, this is still going to have a little bit of the wiggle and jiggle and make it fit. That's to be expected. My dog is climbing my leg and I don't know why. Hi. What time is it? Okay. Oh, did I? Shit, I gotta watch out for that. Okay, my monster has been getting he's been getting back into some good habits. You see me take off my gloves. I will be back in about 10 or 15 minutes at the most. It's he gets a curb trip. By now he's had a curb trip, and it's been really helping his. He's pretty much fully adjusted. He's fine, but now that he knows it's the routine. So I'm gonna take a quick intermission, take him out for a quick walk, and we will be right back. Hey, we're gonna go potty. You have to go pee. Let's go. Let's go pee. Come on. Watch yourself. Watch yourself. What was that? That was normal shaking. Nothing happened. Nothing bad happened to my puppy. Okay, you gotta watch it though. Okay, let's go. Okay, we're gonna go potty, go work. Yeah, we're not going very far. Come on. Come on. What you looking for? Do you need to go potty or do you just want a treat? Do you want a treat? Do you want to go potty? Are you buffering? Come here, puppy. Let's go inside. Let's go for a quick potty. Come on. I am back. Okay, you okay? Want down? You don't want down. It's a big baby. Okay, down you get. Go get a treat? Let's go get a treat. There you go. I am back. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, everything I have is ready to go. This would be perfect time for mismatched bobbin and thread colors. Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm like. Okay, I got bright yellow and pale yellow. What do I care? Well, hello, Linda. How you doing? Aw, you had to work. That kind of blows. I am doing good today. I hope your day was a good day. Had some goodly bad news for Bruno. I know I've been way over talking about it. Just to bring you up to speed, I'm working on my ugly quilt today. Goodly bad news, badly good or goodly bad news about Bruno. He is deficient in D3. So the idea being is that once we can get him on supplements, he should be looking at some cognitive improvements, physical improvements, because D3 covers a lot of shit. And I think you're now up to speed. I'm piecing together some of these. Nope, that's not supposed to be like that. I'm trying 2 different ways to piece together my ugly quilt. I just did one. I know she just got home, and I'm assuming that she's not taking her coat off. She's not settling in. I'm assuming that she has come straight to the TV and is just staring at it. So we did one, and I've got 2 little holes, one there and one there. Then I'm either going to fill them in or leave them. I haven't decided whether to fill them in or whether to leave them and see how they affect the overall quilt. Yes, she's keeping me in line. God, you two are horrible together. The deadly duo. So I did that. Where I sized it up, and I'm more or less 20 by 20. And we already know that these are never going to be perfectly 20 by 20. And as long as they are close enough, then I'll have a quilt that's close enough because, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, so Bruno's issue, Bruno is deficient in D3. D3 does cover some of the vitamin D3 does have an impact on some of the physical stuff that he's going through. So we're hoping that once we can get his levels back up, that most or all of his current symptoms, the muscle spasms, the nighttime wakefulness, blah, 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 will resolve themselves. I am doing, okay, so for this, I've got another patch ready to go. I measured it out so it's 20 by 20, but everything is over. I have a plan here. I have a plan. Oops. So like this is 20 by 20, but it's too long on here. It's too big. It's a little too big all the way around. This is really too big. So I'm going to put all these together. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put all these together. It's 4 o'clock now. I'm trying to figure out what is the quickest and least amount of work to piece all this stuff together. Is kind of where I'm at right now. And I like the zigzagging. I like the zigzagging from this machine better than I liked it from the Janome. So this is probably going to be entirely done on this machine, which is a Singer Quantum Stylus. Anyway, yeah, so we've had some good news. I didn't go all the way to the corner. That's not a good idea. Okay, there we go. This is another one that's going to be a little tug on one side and hope for the best. Nothing's perfectly flat, by the way. But again, you know the drill, though. Linda knows the drill. This is meant to be. This is really meant to be a kid's blanket, a FAFO project just to use up scrap that you would otherwise. This is to use up the scrap that you really can't use for other projects. Like I am just ever since I did it on a knitted blanket. I think I said crochet before. Ever since, yeah, it's gonna puff up. It's gonna puff up anyway, and nothing's pre-washed, so it's gonna puff up. And the idea is to not give a shit, because this is the kind of blanket. This is the one you throw in the back of your truck, and if it gets an oil stain on it, then you just cut out the section that's damaged, sew it back together, and don't give a shit. Okay, yeah, that's what's gonna be. I'll show. I'll see if I can. I am liking the tablet because it lets me get in a little bit closer. But I'll show you what happened. I'll show you what just happened, and then I'll show you how I'm going to fix it. This is where I just okay. I'm like acting like there's some big major reveal coming up. There's not. Two pieces aren't lined up because they're actually off by like probably not much more than 1/4 of an inch or so. But rather than agonizing about that 1/4 inch, I'm just going to push. I've got pieces in my knitted quilt that I started off with a square piece, but there was a little gap over here, so I just tugged it, and so now it goes. I'll show you. What the hell? What did I just do here? Why did that not go? It's skipping on the zigzag. That is not okay. Everything's fine. Okay, that's weird because it's. Let's see what happens if I do it. Let's see what happens if I flip it around. It was not catching on the one side, and it was really weird, and there was no reason for it. Huh. That's weird. I hate when machines do that because I know that this one does not. This one is not in need of a service. Okay. So let me see if I can bring this in. So when I bring this in, not nearly close enough. Maybe you can see it. Right here, that lines up, but this is off. There's a tiny gap. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it or not. So what I'm going to do is really simple. It's really simple, especially when you're doing an intentionally FAFO project. So I'm just going to start. Actually, I'm going to double check on this because that's got to be. Yep, that's fine. Okay. So I'm gonna line these two up because I know the bottom's not lining up. Yeah, there's just it's just barely a slit. So I'm gonna let me get back into that corner. I didn't get all the way to the edge. There we go. So I don't know if it's gonna show you anything worthwhile. And again, I would not do this. I might do this on a regular quilt. I'm kind of lazy in my quilting. So I'm going up to here, right? And then right here, right there, you can see the white through there. You can just barely see it. You can see the white. It's not quite touching. So now that I'm getting close, I'm going to push that into there. I'm going to push that until they touch. And now there's a kind of a little bit of an S bend here. Fuck it. Buffo around that corner. I'm going to do a back stitch because there's two pieces that meet here. There's two pieces that meet here that are then meeting there. So I want that. I want that intersection reinforced, and I want this intersection reinforced. So just push them together a little bit. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna go straight down. I don't know, and I don't, for all I know, my big fat hands are in the way. The camera's facing away from me, so I can't even see. Okay, now we've got to get, now I've got this one here is a little tiny bit off as well. That's because I wasn't paying attention. So again, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to go like this. One nice thing too is that these are puffy, so I can push and just have that puff up and over. There's ways around it as long as the fabrics are being connected. There's ways around needing to give a shit about how they connect. There we go. And again, do a little. I don't think backstitching is going to matter here because what I'm doing next is where I'm going to be like either winning at this or yeah. So I just smooth it because don't forget from here, nobody's going to know, nobody's going to care, nobody's going to see it. And when I get in like this, you're going to go, oh, this is a FAFO project. That looks awesome. So see, either way, you're not going to care. That goes to there. That goes to there. And yes, there is a, hey, baby cakes, how are you doing? So again, there's going to be a little bit of like that, but that happens after it's washed anyway. So now I've got 3 pieces here. So these 2 are going to go together. I'm going to do them upside. I'm going to do these 2 upside down because they need to be lined up because that's going to be the outside. Actually, it doesn't matter. They need to be lined up because it's going to be the inside. I forgot to go backwards first. Killing time before I get to leave work. Awesome. Jenny forced me by force. She pulled out a gun and threatened me and everything. It was bad. I had the whole, I'm not sure what I want to do next thing going on. She's going, piece them together. I'm like, you're right. I need to do some piecing and see how that's going to go. So I'm stapling this. Pardon me. I just burped. I may have to. Now I'm wondering though, because I'm missing. Okay. The only place that this is skipping stitch it. I'm blaming you for shit. Don't worry about it, Jenny. Don't worry about it. Just take the blame. Jeez. God, I'm such an asshole. Okay, and then that one goes there. Okay. I don't know why. Yes, putting them together is where the magic of the whole project. Well, here's something I'm doing. I don't know if you're going to have enough time to see it. But you get to come home and look it over in person anyway. I'm wondering if my tension. I hate fucking with my tension. Actually, okay. So the issue with my Janome is tension because when I was going up and over a big enough bump, it started skipping stitches, right? Which means it's a tension issue, but the Janome has an automatic tension control and that shouldn't be happening. Okay. Let's see if it does it again here. It's not doing it here, so. Machine skipping a stitch when the tension is off is very, very normal. Okay, so that goes there. Then we do this. Okay, and again, I get to control what goes under the machine first. I'm going to do that side. I'm going to level it. Okay, so this is more than 20 by 20. Oh, no, I'm going to do that side because I need that. Okay, so this is the last piece. Basically, I don't mind binding. I just don't like doing it. Oh, is that how that? No, Lisa. Now, as much as I love my wife, we know who's to blame for her deck habits, and it's 100% Little Miss Lisa. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, so a little bit of this to get around where this stuff meets is actually not a bad thing. Did that go to the side? Okay. Okay. So if I'm faffling one of these, I just don't know how important it is to me that everything be exactly. Oh, I think I may have literally missed. Gotta double check that one spot. I'm distracting myself. We all know that when I distract myself, oh no, that caught. Yeah, see, it didn't catch. It did not catch where the tension. It did not catch where it was going from high to low. Oh, that caught just fine. Where I was going past that intersection. Let's see if it does it again. Yep, it's not picking up. It's picking up when I go backwards, though. There was too much of a difference between the left side and the right side, which is fine by me. And because this is a FAPO project, no, it's fine. It's fine. It caught on the back stitching. It caught when I was back stitching, just not when I was forward stitching. Not sure why, but I can also feel that I've got one thickness here, and a different thickness here. So it's just not level. Let's see what that. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Okay. Okay. So now here's the next step. Now I'm thinking about this because the amount of time that it took me to piece all this together, the amount of time it took me to piece the other one together, knowing that it's not going to be perfect, I'm like, okay, so what happens if it's over there. I gotta go get it. My leg has been hating me, by the way. I'm okay, but the gimping is getting on my nerves. I'm not very happy about it, but I've had to use my cane the last couple of days. It's just how my world goes sometimes. Okay, so that's 20. Okay. And then we're going to go 20. Okay, this is a 20.5-inch ruler. So I always have to make sure. that I am. Oh, right, that goes there. Okay, that's right. So I got a 20-inch by 20-inch ruler. Have you started putting together the ugly quilt? Because I threatened her and for ugly threats for ugly quilt. Oh, there you go. So ugly quilt day is the whole be mean to each other day. That's probably not going to go over very well, but anyway, who am I to judge? Okay, so for this one, just to FAFO and see what happens, I went over. That's right there. So now, okay, I'm finding my shortest pieces and measuring to make sure I've got 20 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all this extra off because that's over 20 inches. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, okay, that one's off. Okay, that one's going. So that one is done. Just cut that off. Now look at that though. Remember that 1-inch piece I need? I just gotta done. I can still use these pieces. Okay, so that one's done. Now I have to turn this. Oops, I got a big long thread here that I didn't realize. Okay, now I'm gonna take my time. This one here, I started off with one straight edge, right? So that's straight. Okay. So now I come over and I get rid of that edge. That's about right. Okay, I get rid of that edge. Now I get rid of the whole edge. This is going to be 20 by 20. Now the thing is that this one's also 20 by 20. But what I did was I fiddled and farted until the outsides all matched up as 20 by 20, and then filled in the inside, which is fine. But I'm fine. How big will the Ugly Quilt be? The final quilt, I'm making 20 by 20 inch pieces. So I'm going to start with 60. So that's going to be I'm going to start with 60 by 60 inch, see what I think, and then probably go 80 by 80. So it's probably, because 60 by 60 is only 9 of these. Yeah, 9 of these. 80. So the more of these I can make, the bigger the quilt's going to be. And because it's an ugly quilt, because of the way I'm doing the quilt, I can just start off with a 60 by 60, do the whole thing, and add to it later. Because if I take this and wash it, then it will get, if I have a 60 by 60 and I'm using it, washing it, doing whatever, I get it shrunk down to the size. Then if I come back and just make sure I wash these first, then I can just add them straight on and make it as big as I want. And everything's zigzagged, so if I don't like it, I can make it smaller. I'm sorry, I'm over explaining because I can. Okay. So, whoops, I'm taking this off. That's gone. And again, I can use this. I don't know if you guys remember, but I've been coming along with some of these. I've been coming along, yeah. Of course, I don't have one handy. I've been adding binding to finish them out. Yeah, okay, so that was that second fox piece I had. So I just added a layer of binding around the edge to finish it. I have all the toys. I got, okay, like, but don't forget, I will tell you right now, I will tell you straight up right now, if I did not have the shop and have a reason and a business deduction for doing it, I would never have gotten the toys that I've got. Okay, and then I've got that one. So what I'm faffling around with now is if I have a bunch of patches, is it quicker? Is it quicker to put them together and then trim to size and then bind them, or is it quicker / better to do the puzzle piece into a 20 by 20, or is it quicker / better to puzzle piece from the inside to the outside, cut off the extra, and then just add a binding? Now, I just grabbed this one. I don't know that this is enough. I need 4 pieces. Yeah, I only need 4 pieces. This is fine. This should be fine, and if it's not fine, I'm going to have a problem. So we set that out of the way. Because I don't mind binding. I don't mind binding on the small scale. I just can't stand binding on the large scale, like for an entire blanket, because I don't do it right. For binding, you want to put it on the bias. You want to do all this thing. Where's my other ruler? There's a different ruler. Oops. But I will say, if your only tool is like one ruler, then you can take a regular ruler and just measure it and mark it, and then cut with scissors. It's easy enough to do. It's slower. It's slower. The reason why I ended up with the tool, I ended up with all the toys for speed. Yeah, there's pros and I shut down. I finally called it and shut down the Etsy shop. I had it open to just Canada, which was fine. Okay, I'm gonna 2, 4, 6, 8. That's gonna be good. I had it open to just Canada, which was fine, but it wasn't really doing all that well. Canada Post. Okay, we've got the tariffs, which are never. They're still a developing drama, which is the tariffs. The tariffs were not the problem in terms of money. There's what's called a brokerage fee. The brokerage fee was what killed everything, because the brokerage fees started about $20 a pop, plus your tariff. Anyway, so the tariffs are a thing, but up here in Canada, we're also having postal issues. They're voting again. Oh, Canada Post absolutely blows fucking chunks. They are such, and I'm sorry if you, okay, let's put it this way. I don't blame the workers. They want to keep their jobs. They want to keep their benefits. They want to keep their job security. I don't blame them. I blame the union for the constant bullshit, playing politics, lying to the membership, blah, 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 blah. The union said, oh, we're going to vote on this tentative. Okay. For those who don't know, our union, our Canada Post postal workers have been without a contract for almost 3 years now. But part of the problem is that the union will not approve anything. That's going to be good enough. So basically, this is just adding a binding. So what you do is you put it on the back, right? And then you fold it back around to the front. Now, I am not, this is still supposed to be, this is still a FAFO project. I got to make this narrower, because I did it wrong the first time. And I got to do straight stitching and not zigzag stitching. Anyway, so after going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth for over 3 fucking years and job actions and 2 strikes, they're finally voting yet again on the union said before Christmas, oh, blah, blah, blah. We think we can agree on, we think we have a tentative package that blah, blah, blah. So we're going to vote on it in 4 months. And then after saying, yeah, we think we finally reached the best deal that we can get for the workers, says, okay, voting starts in a couple of days. And by the way, we don't approve the deal. Vote no. Vote no and vote to go on strike. It's like, that's 100% the union playing fucking games with it. Okay, but you know what? I'll tell you right now. Yeah, they're phasing out home delivery, and they're laying, and over the next 10 years, they're going to be laying off 30,000 out of 55,000 workers. Ooh, as a little girl, my grandma made me cut out all her patterns as an adult. One of the first things I got myself for sewing was rotary cutter and mat. Absolutely. Oh, thank you. Okay, so, okay, basically, I've just cut through everything. This is a junk quilt. I don't care if I have to cut partway through any of this. So, is it quicker? I'm talking and babbling my brains out. Okay. So I'm not going to know what's quicker until I sit down later and I'll do one of each again later tonight and time myself. Anyway, so all this garbage is happening at the post office. All this garbage is happening at Canada Post has completely disrupted the post office to the degree that they've lost about 60% of their commercial business what commercial business they still had, they lost over like the last year, 2 years since all this started, because nobody can trust them. Anyway, I don't trust them. Okay, I don't trust Canada Post because of what I send and how I send it. They're the cheapest way for me to send anything. So the tariffs changed all that for me. That was awesome. Okay, so what I got going on here. Now, this section here, I didn't have to cut it all because it was the very bottom. I'm not putting a binding on that piece. I'm leaving it because I can. It's part of the process, right? Oh, let's just get some scissors out. I might have to do a fold in to get that covered up anyway. Anyway, I am so disgusted with Canada Post that it's like, anyway. Yeah, by the end of the quilt, I'll know which one I prefer. So where's the next one? There's the next piece. I'm just going to go around I'm going to go around the right way. I'm going to leave a little extra at the end here because I'm not sure how that's going to fold down. There's a couple of different ways to fold that in to make sure that I don't have to put a piece of stuff all along the bottom as well. Anyway, no, like I said, I know I know tangentially through being in the same online groups and stuff like that. I don't think I really know anybody in my world who's actually a postal worker. Most of them are operating in good faith, but the union is screwing them every step of the way. Because here's the thing. Okay, here's my beef, and I gotta blow my nose right quick, and I'll be right back. Let the ranting continue. Okay. Here's my beef. Here's my why can't people do math? For me, it's about the math. It's about the numbers. And the reality is, I'm still bitching about Canada Post, by the way. Each piece is already a complete piece with batting. So when I put them together, I just puzzle piece them all together until I reach 20 by 20. 20 inches by 20 inches. Then I finish this piece and it's just done. When I sew them together, they're done. This is a finished one that I already did earlier today. It's done. The back is a better, everything, the finished pieces are zigzag together. There's still a few holes that I have to fill in, and I can just do those whenever I have a spare minute. There's two little holes that were left over because I don't have a patch that's small enough but I could just go like this. I haven't decided. Like I could take this hole here and just put that patch on, zigzag it in place and be done. But if I work with 20-inch, but I might do that on a few just to see how they turn out. That actually might be the best way to do it. If I do that, then I have way less work, way less of everything. I might do a few like that and see what I think. Yeah, but so they're complete. They're just zigzag together, and then we puzzle piece them all together. Because the idea here is that then this is the blank. This is all scraps, all the time. It's the blanket you can throw on your truck, and if you get it dirty, you just cut out the piece that got damaged and replace it, and it's really simple. I mean, you're not going to want to buy a quilt like this because unless you enjoy doing them. Okay, if I were to send something like this to Linda, who actually does quilting, then she could go, oh, okay, I'm gonna get this blanket and I know how to make a single patch. So unless you're in a position to do this for yourself, you don't want to actually. But anyway, I'm overstating it. Anyway, so here's the math for the hot sleeper. Yeah, but here's the math. The Canada Post Union the CUPW union, and this is like this for any large business. The union operates out of their own offices. They have their union headquarters. They have their union employees. They have their union everything. There are people that work at the union office who no longer work for Canada Post. So if Canada Post lays off, and don't forget, when you're in a union, your union dues is what the union workers, all these freaking executives over at Canada Post, they get paid 100% through your union dues. It's like, well, so what? Well, so what is Canada Post is essentially bankrupt and has been ordered to find ways to save money. So the union, being that it's their job to understand how this works. The union is going, well, wait, if Canada Post lays off 30 is the number that they've come up with. Hello. If Canada Post lays off over half of their 55,000 member workforce, then the union does not get paid as much money, which means that they are not going to be able to pay the mortgage or lease on their commercial building. they are not going to have as many, they're not going to be able to hire as many employees to work directly for them at the union headquarters. And people like Jan Simpson are going to have to maybe consider a fucking pay cut.
Hi.
Hi, come give me kisses.
Okay.
Or not. Fuck away from me. No, I'm just gonna
You don't even, like, you're so desensitized. I come in with a whole box and you're like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, she spent money again. What else is new? Well, she's blamed it all on Jenny. So
That's right. It's all Jenny's fault.
she blamed Jenny. Oh, Jenny made me buy stuff. It's like, oh hell no.
All my debts.
Anyway,
It's all Jenny's fault.
but no, okay, Canada Post. For those of my American friends who don't know, Canada Post up here in Canada it's called a Crown Corporation. They are supposed to be self-funding. They're not a government, or they're not a branch of government the way the post office is in the States. Well, they've been getting $1.5 billion. They've basically lost almost $6 billion in the last like 5 years, or more money. I don't know. So they have been ordered. You guys need to restructure. You guys need to figure this shit out because you are not a government service, and you guys are not making them. You guys are not making money. See, I don't know, home delivery mail here in Canada, like, I don't know how to describe this, but here's the thing. We are geographically a much larger country, so we have a lot more space. We have to go a lot further to get mail to people's mailboxes, right? But the reality is that as much I think we're like over double the size of the US geographically, but we've only got 1/10 the population. So it's a very expensive proposition to keep the post office afloat in Canada. And nobody had a problem with that. Nobody really had a problem with that until we reached a point where we've got entire areas. They have this routing thing. If you can get basically in the contract, in the contract, I'm not even going to take off the extra on this. I'm just going to trim it and go. If you finish your route in 3 hours instead of 8, you just go home and get paid for 8 hours. That's how it works up here. So when Canada Post said, "Look, we're not doing well. We need the Canada Post turns around and says we need to figure this out." So what I'm doing right now is I'm going to fold this in to cover up. If I just fold it down, I'm going to have a exposed seam out here. So I'm going to fold it in just the once. I only need to fold it in the once. I'm going to fold it in to cover the seam. So basically, yeah, our mail comes to a mail room, right? We don't have to go anywhere else. What they do is they put it, it's the same thing as actually out in the sticks in the States. You're going to have some areas, and I'm not sure how many because I'm not American and I don't know how it works, but you're going to have some situations where people have to drive to, so you're on this area, you have to drive to the end, of your rural road to where the mailboxes are and go pick up your mail, stuff like that. That's what they're basically proposing. But the union is going, oh, you can't do that because all these people need those jobs and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, then start doing the fucking job. When the company came back and said, we need to re-examine these routes because we used to have a route. We used to have a route with 100 houses on it, but now that it's turned into 6 building developments, the guy on that route is done in like 2 hours and still gets paid for 8 because we haven't updated the routing and oh, you can't do that. That's a violation of the contract. We've got people here who even on a busy, we've got milk, and I'm not saying it's the entire thing, right? Yeah. 1981, it became a Crown Corporation. Prior to that, it was a government department providing taxpayer-funded services, but we are not funded by it's now considered a Crown Corporation. Oh, geez, this is just not being my friend right now. I need it to fold in. I need to get the gloves off. I have better hand-eye coordination with the gloves off. I just got to get that little thing going there. Turn it in, turn it down. Basically, this is where I'm missing my knee lift because what I do is I get this in place, I hold it, I pinch it, I move it, I use my knee lift. Life is good. I don't have that anymore. So we don't care how thick our, we don't care about anything other than making it done. So I'm not even changing. This is black. It's getting put on with yellow. I don't care. This is not that kind. This is you are supposed to be intentionally sloppy with every step of this. Anyway, but it's a babble-de-babble, because the thing is that people would be in favor of home delivery. People would be in favor of maintaining home delivery if the system was set up better, so that they could do like dynamic routing, so that they could do things. There's different kind of things that they can do. It's like they need to find a way. They are a very bloated organization with far more. They're employing far more people than they actually need to get business done. And there's other things that they could be doing that they're not doing. The union, who's not in charge of stuff, that's not my job to care, but the union, whose job it is to look out for workers' rights, are like, we've made the demand that Canada Post needs to become a bank. And it's like, what? Are you, because if you want to send something through Western Union or whatever, you go to the post office, right? Well, Canada Post needs to start doing its own bank, and they're literally trying to demand. It's like, you guys are, the union is so desperate to force the company to keep those 55,000 workers employed, because we can run on 2 day a week. People do not get a lot of door-to-door mail anymore. The average Canadian only gets 2 pieces of mail, 2 letters a week at the high end. The rest of it's all junk now. And it's like, so why do I need 5-day a week home delivery? Blah, 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 blah. And it goes in circles. Of course, it goes in circles regarding service and convenience and whatnot. But it's like, it can go in circles all you want it to, but it's costing the taxpayers $1 billion a year minimum in bailouts to keep this company going, while the union, and this is why I'm blaming the union for everything, the union literally is making statements, public media statements, that says, well, no, Canada Post does have the money. They're lying about it and hiding it. As a Crown corporation, it's weird how I don't even understand fully how Crown corporations work in Canada, right? As a Crown corporation, their financials are 100% answerable to the government, which is why the government finally came back and said, you guys need to figure your shit out and come back. They literally ordered them to sort their shit out. And the union is still, this is a government conspiracy, because it's like, do the fucking math, people. If Canada Post has to dump half of their employees, then the union, which is now operating essentially as a private company of its own, loses half of their income. And they are the Canadian Union of Postal Workers. They cannot suddenly go out and start selling socks or something to make up the difference in their income. Anyway, I'm babbling. This is all about, this entire thing has been about corruption on the side of the union. This is my opinion, but it's like the union coming back with all of this smoke and mirrors bullshit that isn't even true, and everybody can prove it's not true. But the government's lying about the money because they did this. It's like, yeah, it's called staying in business. It's like they improved their facilities. It's like, yeah, see, they're lying. They're lying. They can make the approved. They could afford they paid for the improvements we demanded, so they must be lying about being broke. I don't know. It's fucking weird. But I 100% blame Jan Simpson and the corruption at the union end for this whole fucking fiasco, regardless of how it started. It may have started off all good intentions all the way around, but it's been a fucking shit show for years. And you follow the money and you realize that for the post office, for Canada Post to do what the government is demanding that they do, the union loses half their fucking income. And they are not just some little, you can have a little workers union through your company and have 6 people who are union but still working a day job, blah blah blah. These guys, that is their job. It's like, if Canada Post has to lay off half of their workers, then we have to lay off half of ours. If Canada Post has to cut half of their expenses, lay off half their workers, they don't get as much money. Anyway, so this one here, I'm not supposed to be on my, well, I rant. You guys know I, so this here is a proper block that's been properly finished. So what I'm doing is putting binding on top of binding. And that's the whole point of the Ugly Quilt, is that we're not supposed to care about this stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this one because it's almost done. And then we'll compare and see if we have feels about the results. Oh, and for this, like I said, this got nothing extra here. This is black. I could go black, blue, green. I could just keep a strip. I could just keep a 2-inch strip of whatever fits in the corner somewhere and just add and just do this as needed. But anyway. This will impact how, if a patch needs to be removed and redone though, this will impact how that happens. So I'm not sure. Mind you, if I have to remove a patch, I can just go cut. I can patch it up anyway. I can if I'm saving it for that purpose, I can do it any way I want. This is a little bit. Anyway, no, my big issue is I do not trust the union. I think that their workers are being misled. I think the vast majority of workers are operating in good faith. Yeah. Well, like I said, it looked like, oh yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to do this. As soon as the union said, we've come to this tentative. Oh, I had him out just a few minutes ago. So he's
whining.
Yeah, he always does when you get home. But it's like, so, but the union said before Christmas, the union said, we're going to recommend that our workers vote yes. And then a week before the actual vote is scheduled to happen, we are going to recommend that our voters, that our members vote no, and that they vote in favor of going on strike. So I'm like, I'm calling it. I'm calling it because the union is never going to stop playing fucking games. Because they don't give a shit about the workers. They're trying to save their own jobs. Anyway, that's a babble. That's my babble and that's my thing. Here's the thing. I'm still in the same situation of we never put ourselves in a position of relying on the money, which it was always extra money for extra stuff. We never put ourselves in a position where this was vital to our well-being. And I'm 61 now, and Lisa's been bugging me to fully retire for a while now anyway. So. And it's funny because I think if the issue was just the tariffs, I would have went ahead and reopened properly to the States and everything. I know a $20. I know brokerage fees would have been a huge pain in the ass, but then again, a flat $20 brokerage fee, if you're making a relatively comparatively big order, is not that big of a deal. So I don't know, but yeah. I just decided to listen to the universe. Listen to the universe. The universe says, you know what? Just enjoy your quilting. Enjoy the quilting. Off you go. I've got this to finish. I've got this to finish, and I've got 3, maybe 4 more projects already lined up. So it's like, yeah. Okay. Oh, that last one's almost done. Okay, so I've got this one. From a timing perspective, I don't think it's that much different. So I've got this one that I just finished. Let's get up here. Oh, come on, get up there. There we go. I don't know why. I do know. I don't know. I'm still getting the hang of that. So that's this one. So this is complete. This is already a complete one. So I can just set it aside. I don't have to go back and do anything, which I kind of like. I went from the inside to the outside. Sewed it all together, and then I just cut off until I got, and it's exactly 20 by 20. So it's going to be a no-brainer to connect it to the next one. Where'd I put my shit? This one This one I like. I don't care that it's a little, I don't care that it's doing this. You know, I don't care that it's got the puffy because it's part of the charm. It'll be fine. Now something else that I can do, which I don't know that I will, but yeah, I think I'm gonna zigzag that on there, which I'm gonna do right now. Zigzag that on there. I've got my little patches. Oh, these patches, you know what? Remember these? I don't know if you remember that I did these and I just turned them inside out to see how that would look by comparison. But if I just put this on, how's it going to look from the back? I think well, if I go straight on, yeah. Okay, let's try that. Let's try, that one's going to go there. I know I've got a little one. We'll do this one first. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. Okay, come with me. Okay, basically what I'm realizing is that I don't, either one's going to work, right? That's not going to be the issue, but this going from having these little spaces to fill in later could become really tedious. So I'm going to put this in. I don't care if it's in an angle. So I'm going to get this on my machine. Here, I don't care if it goes in at an angle. So I'm going to get my machine set up. I'm going to slide this puppy in. I don't care if it's on an angle. I don't care as long as it's fully covered. I can also pin it in place. And not be so freaking lazy. So, oh, and this is going to be even better. I'm going to back stitch. All I want is to just, I'm going to go. This is why I wanted to downgrade. I had the was gonna do. I was gonna just start in one corner and just go and make this giant thing. Where did I put my gloves this time? There they are. I'm checking my pocket. I think I have. Nope, I don't have one in my pocket. I had the was gonnas and was gonna start in one corner and just go. But then once I get over like a quarter done, I'm gonna be in this massive situation where I'm manhandling this giant blanket. Okay, so turn the corner. I've got a small corner here, which is fine. Turn the corner. I probably should have. Okay, I should have pinned it, but I can feel that it's flat, so I'm good. It's easier to manhandle smaller. Yeah. No, I should have. If I had just not been lazy and pinned it in place. Flip that. I just got a little end tail that I have to trim before I go to the end here. Okay, I'm going to do a little back stitch there where the two pieces meet. Okay, I think I just found what I'm going to do. So the reason why I did it from the back is because I've got this L piece. Actually, I'll bring the piece to the machine, to the camera in a second. This will be the best of both worlds, to be perfectly honest. I think I just stumbled on what the best of both worlds is. But anyway, yeah, I'm not a fan of the Canadian Post Office. It's got nothing to do with the post, and I don't know, both sides made some mistakes back in the day, but doesn't change the fact you can't put the shit back in the horse. It doesn't matter who did what 10 years ago. Today's problem is that Canada Post is bankrupt, and the union is bending backwards to try and convince their members that Canada Post is lying about it and wants them to go back on strike again. So anyway, let me just see. I could not imagine trying to put this. I could not imagine trying to do this with spinning the entire quilt through here. So basically, I decided to come in from the back first because this has it's all on black now. That's black and that's black. that little corner there would have been like just flopping loose as an irritation point as part of the backing. So now I've got that, and it looks like it has its own cute little. So now I can leave it like this and just not give a shit, or I can just, and I don't have to zigzag it in place, which is nice. But anyway, so enough of the babbling about the post office, because now it's no longer my concern. Lisa's stuff, we have Lisa's stuff shipped to a fulfillment center right in the States. And mail coming out of the States, mail coming from the States to other places does not have the same problem as mail from other places trying to ship into the States. So there we go. So just some straight stitching here. I don't have to zigzag this on. Come on, you go over there. Okay, I have a feeling that I'm going to end up doing this because I can have these. I can leave the tiniest ones and not worry about it. I can cover them. Why am I thinking that that's up? Because this is supposed to look like this. And as long as I just straight stitch, then you can still repair around. You can still repair around this because it's just easy enough to just rip the stitches. Mind you, what I will say is if I had a so that one's covered up, and that's what it looks like now. I've still got this little hole here, but that covers that up. And these little pieces that these little ones that I messed around with. Yeah, it's like an income tax, a temporary First World War measure. Yeah, oh, it's a temporary tax, but I'm not giving it up. It's like, yep. It's its own thing. So yeah, so I can do that. I can do it this way and or this way. Let's see. And I'm stealing Bruno's blanket back. Oh shit. There we go. There's that one. Put it like that. Done. And I don't have to, I can put them in like this. I can put them in straight and not care about it. Oh, and I can actually get over myself too. So I can just line it up. Oh, and I don't have to perfectly center them. I can go a little off center and not worry about them. Like I've got a one. I kind of like this patch, right? It's like, well, I don't want to fuck up that patch. I don't know if I've got anything smaller, but this is going to give me some incentive to do teeny tiny patches. I'm putting this one on because I don't care. Or let's just do this. Okay. So I got this one. I've got this one, right? I've got that one. So I just take that one. I'm not going to use my scissors. I take that one. I cut that one off just past here. I take that one. I cut it off just past the zigzagging. There's my shit. Okay, I'm getting super happy about this because I go just past the zigzags, so I'm taking that off. Ugh. I'm trying to throw this little tiny shred away. It's like, wait a second, that's attached to something. So I take that off. I do that. I throw that back over there because I just need a little piece. I just need a little piece to cover that up. So I take my piece like that. Oops, I'd start on that side. I got to have a little extra because I need a lip. It was exactly enough. There we go. We'll just use that one up. Again, it has to look scrappy. Has to. It's the rule. Come on. I am now doing a thing. I probably have to go in a minute, but Lisa likes to take Bruno for a long walk after work, and my leg has been bugging me, so I already knew up front that I wouldn't be going. She already knew up front that she wasn't going to let me, so I don't know what it's from. I have to figure it out. Once I figure out what it's from, I can usually figure out how to make it go away. Actually, I don't want that. There it is. Okay. Usually at this time of year, it's just the weather hating on me. So like that. Come back. Come back. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this one because I want to. Then I'm probably gonna say goodbyes. We had pizza yesterday, so we got leftovers for dinner tonight. So dinner's not that big of a worry, but sometimes we also don't want to have pizza 2 nights in a row. So we'll see. Nothing came with it. That is one thing I like about keeping a few strips handy. I've got the perfect. There you go. So you don't have to like binding or do a lot of it, but this is still binding, just like you do binding on a quilt, but it's just such a smaller amount that I don't like binding on a quilt though. I don't know why. It shouldn't be a problem, but I don't like it. Okay, how far out do I need to do that one? That one needs to go. That one still needs to go out a little bit too. There we go. So which side do I want to do first? That side first. So we're going to go fold it that way. I'm just folding it straight in to create it. I'm just creating a covered seam. I'm not agonizing about width because I don't have to care. As a matter of fact, if it's a little bit wider than anything that might be under it, then you're not going to have that issue of trying to go through too many layers of fabric at the same time. Anyway, okay. Now, realize that you went too far forward because I can just go right around this corner. There we go. That's going to be a lot of layers. Let's see how that goes. Okay, actually that's not bad because I don't have to go through all the layers now. Come all the way down here. In, then around, then over, then done. No seams. All right. Well, I know my tension is good. I think. I've got yellow on the top, orange on the bottom. So it works. Okay. This is the final test. Because what I should have done the first time around, what's that stuck to? Just a seam. What I should have done the first time was, yeah, I think I just discovered my newest thing. And if each of these has a couple of those on it, who cares? And I don't have to do them this big. I can do smaller ones. Okay. So obviously, just slide the whole works in. There we go. Doesn't have to be perfect because that's the entire point. So yeah, I'm just doing it from the front first and then going to go fill in the, I'll do it from the front first because then I don't have to agonize. Then I'll flip it over and do the back, which is what I should have done all along. Oh shit, what am I doing here? Oh, that's right. Okay. Looked like my stitches were really close together and it's like, why are my stitches? Oh, they're not. I'm just not paying attention. That goes there. Okay. Okay. And then go back around the corner for one last couple of stitches to lock it all down. There we go. Okay, it's done. So I've got that one. There's the front. There's the back. This I just have to come in here and because I didn't top stitch hardly any of it. I didn't top stitch hardly any of it, so it's actually going to look pretty good-ish in its own special way. All I'm following here is the edges of the hole. So when, where, and how I follow that hole is absolutely irrelevant. Okay, so that means now I need to make a bunch of little pieces. I don't need to make them right away, but yeah, I saved my little pieces in one pile, my big pieces in another pile. I think I just fell in love with this project all over again. Okay, what's going on here? Thought so. No, this is what. Why did it do that? That shouldn't happen. Oh yeah, I forgot. This particular machine is a lot more flexible when you turn a corner. When you turn a corner, if there's some sideways pressure, the needle just kind of goes with you, which is fine. But if you're not paying attention, you end up with this zig when you should have zag stitch. So there we go. So that's done. That's done. These two are done. These two are done. I got that one. I got that one. And now I just got to sew them together, which I can do right away. I can do later. And I don't have to care if they're exact because these are not going to be exact. Yeah, I've got two ways to do these. This might be a really, if I decide to do this again, I do one for Lisa in pinks, right? If I do this for her in the pinks, then I can save particular ones. I can save particular pink pieces as the fillers. I can do it with this one too. Anyway, I'm very happy. And now I have to go. Oh my God, my timing's perfect.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with how this is going. And now I have to go. And as soon as I said, and now I have to go, you walked in.
Oh, convenient.
Ah, perfectly convenient. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. I've got 3 different methods I can use now because I could have custom cut a piece to fill the gap, which is one method. So a patch over top, 2 methods, or build my square from the inside out and then trim everything off and put and bind it, which is the 3rd method. And I can just cherry pick whatever I'm in the fucking mood for. I can cherry pick whatever I'm in the mood for. And then when I have enough of this to go around, I make my big ass blanket, which is probably, if it doesn't turn out, here's the cool part. If it doesn't turn out, it becomes a picnic blanket. Keep it in the car, throw it around on the ground outside, and I don't have to care about it. If I do like how it turns out, then it can become almost anything. I really strongly suspect, very strongly suspect that I'm going to turn this into a, I'm pretty convinced that I'm going to end up making this in the 80 by 80 or maybe even going up to 100, which is what? Well, 20 by 20. So it'd be 5 by 20. It's only 25 of these. And with the way, I don't know how I'm going to do for scrap anymore. Now that I've shut the Etsy shop down, I don't know what my scrap situation is going to look like. But now that I've shut the Etsy shop down, every single piece of fabric I have is now up for grabs. So maybe some of these, and I can do a really nice, pretty full 20 by 20 and add it in. I don't have to care. So yeah, so that I'm done. I'm done for the day. I'm done for the day. I'm gonna go visit the wife now that she's back with the dog. Yay! And we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure out dinner, more pizza or something else. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day, great whatever. If I can, I'm gonna probably try and come back later on this week, but we'll see. I always say we'll see, and we never know. So have a great week otherwise. And you guys take care. Bye.